PlayStation Vita is Sony's second handheld system, and a great one at that. It was greatly underappreciated, and it truly was a technical achievement. It's just sad that it came out at a bad time with the craze of smartphones taking off.
Hey bro, can we see your phone?
Sure.
Can I see with my hands?
Have you seen this thing? Ooh.
She totally caught me checking out her phone.
Check out the screen, this thing is huge.
It's pretty massive.
The Vita was released December 2011 in Japan and February 2012 everywhere else. There were around 317 physical released games and close to 1,500 games in total, with most of that being digitally released only. So with that many games being available, there's bound to be some hardware pushing games. And for this list, I wanted to stick with games that were designed specifically for the Vita, so I'll be skipping ports for now. So let's dive deep into the Vita's library and talk about 5 of those titles. But first, please consider hitting the like button if you end up enjoying this video. Number 5, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. Developed, published, and released in 2012 by Ubisoft, Liberation takes place alongside the events of Assassin's Creed 3, which was also released the same day as Liberation. You play as an African French woman who lives in Louisiana named Aveline de Grandpré. Aveline de Grandpré. I don't know how to say it. The story follows 12 years of her life, much like Assassin's Creed 3 and its protagonist. Much of the game takes place within the city of New Orleans and the bayou that surrounds it. Say what you will about the game, but the fact remains that this game looks stunning for the small Vita screen. The aliasing looks bad when viewed at full screen, but when viewing on the Vita screen, it isn't that bad, and not really too noticeable. The lighting and shadow effects are really great looking, just as if you were playing on a PS3. The visuals are a sight to see, pushing the Vita's 4 cores and 512 megabytes of RAM to the breaking point. The frame rate is between 25 to 30 frames, never dropping too low, even when in heavy combat. If you have your Vita jailbroken, you can expect a locked 30 FPS when using overclocking applications. You get to explore a large city while still being able to climb buildings and run from rooftop to rooftop. It really is incredible that this game runs this good. Number 4, Wipeout 2048. If you've never played a Wipeout game before, well, it's essentially a racing game on steroids. A game like F-Zero but harder. 2048 is a Vita exclusive one, and it was developed by SCE Studio Liverpool, published by Sony and released in 2012, which was a launch title for the PlayStation Vita. You control anti-gravity ships and race them around futuristic tracks. Wipeout 2048 is a prequel to the very first game in the series that was on the first PlayStation, and that game took place in 2052. The coolest feature was that you could crossplay online with PlayStation 3 owners who were playing with Wipeout HD Fury. You could only play the Fury tracks, but awesome nonetheless. The game runs at a solid 30 frames per second, but was later ported to PlayStation 4 in the Omega Pack, and that version runs at a locked 60 frames per second. But that's a given. It's a PS4 after all. The graphics on this are so freaking insane. The quality of detail on the buildings as you go zooming past them are stunning. Although only running at 30 frames, it runs so smooth that you honestly don't even really notice it. The colors, draw distance, depth of field, and the anti-aliasing are all top notch. Let's not forget about the ships, they handle like a dream. Number 3, Uncharted Golden Abyss. What the man? How the hell is this game running on this handheld? Looks just like the PS3 counterparts when playing on the Vita's smaller screen. SCE Bend Studio developed this game, and man did they hit it out of the park. The quality is just insane. This was released in 2012 in the very beginning of the Vita's life, so it really is impressive that it can look this great. The story of this action-adventure game takes place before the events of the first Uncharted game that was on the PlayStation 3. SCE Bend Studios were also the company behind Siphon Filter series, another awesome franchise. The lighting effects are so good looking, and how it reflects off the surfaces of the environment is great. The character models are right there in quality with the PS3. The facial animations show every expression, and the body movements are fluid and seem real. As they should, since they did use motion capture for this game just as they did in the previous Uncharted games. However, these amazing graphics come at a cost. The frame rate can dip pretty low, especially when in combat. When just exploring and puzzle solving, it does run better, between 25 to 30. But I beat this game twice, and not a single time did the low frame rate annoy me. I feel when viewing on a smaller screen, you don't really notice it as much. Number 2, Exit Archive: The Other Side of the Sky. This fun little gem is a side-scrolling Japanese RPG that was developed, published, and released by Spike Chunsoft and Tri-Ace in December 2015 in Japan. It was ported worldwide in October 2016. I'm not entirely sure if this was developed for the Vita or the PlayStation 4, as the game was released for both platforms at the same time. The game was mainly developed by staff members from Tri-Ace who had previously worked on the first Valkyrie Profile game, which was also a side-scrolling RPG and an amazing one at that. The character models are made in an anime style and look fantastic. The game is 2D but feels 3D with the far parallax scrolling. The colors are extremely bright and vibrant and makes the game pop, especially when playing on the Vita's super bright vivid screen. When in combat, you'll get a close look at your team, and I just love the way the light hits them. The rim lighting is just so cool looking. I can't really say this game pushes the Vita's hardware, but it is a very nice looking game, mainly due to the character models and colors. I just like looking at it. Number 1, Killzone Mercenary. I said how the hell did they make the Uncharted on Vita? Well, how the hell did they make this game for the Vita? Seriously, this looks incredible. Developed by Guerrilla Cambridge and published by Sony and released in 2013, this first-person shooter takes place throughout key events and locations of the first 3 installments of the Killzone franchise. One unique feature that this Killzone game has is that, for the first time, the player can fight alongside the Helghast forces. A pretty fun addition. To make this game, Guerrilla used a modified Killzone 3 rendering engine, which allowed the use of volumetric lighting, smoke, high-resolution environment textures, gleaming metal, and realistic-looking shadows. This has got to be the best-looking Vita game hands down. The detail the developers were able to inject into this game's world, characters, and textures is astonishing. It really does look like a PS3 game, and in some cases, better than some early PS3 games. Well, that was my list for 5 games that push the Vita's hardware. If you know of any games you feel push the system, do let me know in the comment section below or in my Discord. Link in the description. Well, thanks for watching and please hit the like button. It helps my channel so much. Thanks again and take it easy.